This is Papa Smurf. You're listening to Our Lifestyle, the podcast, with ODB and the Mayor.
Yo, it's Our Lifestyle Podcast, episode 298. And I want to thank everyone that continues to come back and listen to the podcast, everyone that's subscribed to our YouTube channel, and give a huge shout out to the Custom Car Show Productions family, which includes, of course, Scraping the Coast just went down, the 20th anniversary, but their next event is the weekend before Thanksgiving. It's going down Slidell, Louisiana for Bayou Showdown. We're going to be out there. OLP will be representing, and it's going to be an awesome show, so come on out. Now, this week, you probably are thinking, hey, ODB, you said earlier in the summer that you're going to go bi-weekly. And yes, absolutely, that's the plan. What we're going to do this week, though, is give you guys some new content, and we're going to keep a little bit shorter of an episode, right? We've said that before, and we do try to stick to it, but with episode 298, we're going to push out our best of week to next week with an all-time classic, okay? But this week, we're going to link up with ViAir. Actually, Ryan Morgan from ViAir, they were just at Scraping the Coast. We've been wanting to have them back on. And if you've had a chance to check out ViAir.com, you'll know, or, of course, if you follow them via social media, they have recently launched a new product, right? So we've seen going back the last few years, ViAir has, rededicated themselves to launching new stuff, right? And they've always launched stuff over the past, 2 decades or so, but we're super stoked to have Ryan on, so I'm going to call him in just a minute. Mike and I didn't do any audio for this week, kind of giving you guys a break from our normal banter. We'll hit you guys next week, of course, with some trivia with Mike. We want to thank all of our sponsors. We often talk about them every single week, but I want to remind you guys about 2 quick things. So Lone Star Throwdown, in less than a month, they're going to open up the pre-registration. Be ready, LoneStarThrowdown.com. We will announce the minute, hopefully, that they launch the site. We'll let everyone know. They have asked, hey, Jay, Mike, make sure you tell everyone that they want more mini trucks. I talked to some of the No Regret guys from the Midwest today. They're saying, yo, we're planning for it. I said, let's make the minis on the rise. Let's hammer down. We need more mini trucks, right? We'll hopefully have a couple in our booth, which will be awesome. Fingers crossed. And then we want to remind everyone about Mini Nats. Mini Nats, we'll have more information from Jay Bell and team when they launch the pre-registration. But that, of course, is next April. So, 2 months or so past Lone Star Throwdown. But again, this is a show you do not want to miss. There's going to be some epic stuff, I think, going down next year, including a cruise potentially across the country and so much more. But in non-typical ODB fashion, I'm going to actually go ahead and wind it down for this week, right? A short intro, keeping things fresh. And although this would have normally been a best of week, we're still bringing you guys some new content. So thanks for everyone. Thanks everyone for the support. If you're new here, maybe you came here because you saw ViAir's name or you saw something that kind of brought you over to OLP, also known as Our Lifestyle Podcast. Please mash that subscribe or follow button, however you're listening, and come back with us every week. Just last week, we had Sean from Rad BMX Builds, and we also had poor boy Steve, 2 guys highly engulfed in the old school BMX world, right? In that whole culture. So there's plenty of good content every week. It's not just mini trucks. So rock with us another week and check us out on YouTube where I do exclusive videos where I'm going through all 269 issues of Mini Truckin magazine. Everyone have a safe week. Stay on the rise. And we'll hit you guys next week with a truly killer, legendary best of episode. Gotcha. Yo, as I mentioned, this week is going to be all about some technology. I've been wanting to do more episodes like this. And we're so thankful to ViAir. I've often said at the very beginning of our episodes, you hear a compressor and you hear some air switches, some valves rather. That's my wife's old setup with the ViAir compressors paired with some AccuAir, two of our great friends. But I'd like to welcome Ryan Morgan back to the podcast. How you doing?
Hey, Jason. I'm doing all right. How are you doing? It's been a while.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. Everything is good. I appreciate you asking. And I want to give a tip of the cap. You know, you guys were out at Scraping the Coast, and I know, Greg Miller, rest in peace, was a dear friend of ours, and we partner really well with the crew there. I know you guys can't make it to a lot of events, but thanks for always going out there and supporting that big venue out there and that great show.
Yeah, definitely. We love going out there. It's kind of a different area than we typically get to. It's a long travel for us, but we enjoy getting out there and meeting all the people and really supporting the scene.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How have things been on you guys' side? I know in this kind of pandemic / post-pandemic world we live in, things are still kind of slowly getting back depending on where you live, but you guys have been hanging tough, I see.
Yeah, it was definitely something that everybody kind of had to scramble and deal with there, but we saw some pretty good growth during COVID and even leading up to after it. We've got a lot of new products in the pipeline that we're working on, and just trying to keep steady and keep the ViAir name in front of everybody.
Yeah, I love it. If you guys go to ViAirCorp.com, you'll see, of course, ViAir is your vital air source, and we love linking up with the crew over here. We've had you guys on in the past, and we've talked a lot about the older products, right? Before we talk about the brand new product, though, I think what is worth mentioning is you guys did recently come out with, it seems like in the last year or two, the newer style compressors that has, like, keep me honest, it has a different head on it, right?
Yeah. So it was about, it's kind of hard to tell with COVID going on, but I think about 3 years ago, we launched our Gen 2 compressors that kind of had a new updated head that was a little bit more sleek, just overall kind of looked better, performed better, sounded better. So that was the newest project, I guess you could say, after having kind of the same compressors in the market for about 15 years.
Yeah, and the cool thing I've told people for many years, the great thing I love about ViAir is, like, these compressors, they work, man. And just like with anything, you'll have, onesie, twosie, little one-off things here and there, but I'm telling you, I've used ViAir compressors since the beginning on almost every air suspension setup that I've had. And that's the thing, like, when you're in a pinch and, you're driving your car every day and it's laid out, dude, you got to feel good, Ryan, to work for a company that you say, you know what, we have a product that has performed over and over and over again, to the point that we had our original compressors for about 15 years because we didn't really have to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. We obviously you have your small hiccups here and there, and because they're hand-built units and in a mass production type environment, you will see things come up here and there, but we've done some improvements on the check valves. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty much the same product that we've had out there for 15 years, so definitely a lot of room for improvements, I guess you can say.
There's a lot of mini truckers listening. There's also going to be some cross-pollination of folks that are into the air suspension, right? Enthusiasts in general, so thanks to everyone that we've picked up for this episode. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. But one of the things I would encourage people to do is do some maintenance on your older systems, right? So Jimmy's Rod and Customs recently kind of went through Bada Bing, and they changed the rear bags for me and changed out some valves and whatnot. One thing we didn't have to do was change the compressors, the ViAir compressors. But if you've had your air suspension for 15, 20 years and you're daily driving it and things like that, to me, Ryan, you cannot go wrong. I love the Stealth. I think, is the Stealth just the black, or am I saying that right? I love the black compressors, man. The finish on them are just fantastic.
Yeah, we started launching all the compressors in what we refer to it as Stealth Black, which is going to kind of lead into the whole new product series here that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But yeah, it's a great finish on there. It looks clean. It's stealth looking. It's durable. But yeah.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Now, I often will tell folks, with ViAir compressors, you can go to all the leading major suppliers out there, right, and pick these up. Our friend Chris at CS Metalworks, you guys know we've had Chris on in the past. He He buys and sells parts. So, he's a vendor. You can reach out to CS Metalworks, or you can Google. You can go on all these different websites, and you can buy these. I would encourage people, again, if you've had air suspension for a long time, refresh those compressors. You're going to be amazed at how quickly the newer stuff kind of fills in terms of some of the things that we just talked about. But I do want to spend some time, Ryan, and talk a little bit about the new product, man. So talk to us. I know you're excited about this new recent launch.
Yeah. So this is a product that has kind of been a long time in the making. We actually kind of soft launched it. I think it was at SEMA 2018 or 2019. But we had to go back through. We wanted to really improve this compressor and make sure that it was performing correctly. But the main thing that we wanted to do was kind of get rid of I kind of refer to it as like the noise of a Cessna airplane in the trunk. Just trying to get rid of that compressor noise so you don't have to use any type of dynamat or anything else to try to deaden the sound. So that's probably the biggest excitement about these products is they're about 50% quieter than, say, your standard like 444 or 380C compressor that everybody's used to.
Now, are these the 310 SS? Is that the new model?
Yeah. So these are the 310 SS, stands for Stealth Series. When we fire these things up, I think you'll understand why we kind of called it that. I guess it's kind of taken an old play off the Stealth Bomber.
Yeah, it's really revolutionary. And when you go to the website, you can find them. And it kind of talks a little bit about, upgraded internals, newly developed head, and a new metal filter assembly, which to me is sick because, many truckers, a lot of us, and whether you're building a show truck or a daily driver or something that you can just enjoy on the weekends, we love to have custom stuff. And I tell you what, that filter to me, it sets it off. It has like a different look, something that's different than what we've seen over the past, 15, 20 years.
Yeah. The filter itself is completely different, and that's one of the things that kind of leads into the quietness of this compressor. But it's basically a 6-stage filter. The air basically pulls in and goes through 6 different chambers, and then it also goes through kind of the standard, like the old filters. It's got the foam element inside of there to take out all the dirt and dust particles before it goes into the compression area. But yeah, the air filter is completely upgraded. That compressor's also got a spring isolation system, so when it's mounted, it's not going to vibrate the heck out of anything else. And then the new head design is another new addition to it. It's completely revised again, and just really helps out with pushing the air out of that head once it's all compressed.
Awesome, man. Ryan, thinking about it, it's like, you're explaining all this cool stuff, and I'm just like, God, I wish there was a way we could almost demonstrate it, to the listeners. I know you're out in Cali. I'm out here in Florida, the East Coast, West Coast thing, right? But I know you guys are going to be working on some new stuff, but, man, is there any way, like, that you could magically maybe let us hear what's going on?
Yeah, I happen to have a couple of compressors here with me that I've got hooked up to power.
Awesome.
So I've got our old 444C compressor that I'm sure everybody's familiar with, and then I got that brand new 310 here sitting next to me. So if you're ready, I can fire up the 444 and we can hear that one, and then we'll lead into the 310 after that.
Dude, man, let's do it, brother.
All right, let's fire this thing up. So here's your standard 444 compressor. So I'm sure everybody's heard that noise before, but you running 2 of these in your trunk, I mean, they're not necessarily the quietest.
Right.
Now we'll go ahead and fire up this 310, and we'll see what you think of this one.
Cool.
All right, here we go.
Wait, is it on?
I don't know, Jason. Can you even hear it?
Dude, that is a lot quieter, and I can hear the difference. Let's let it run for a second here. Is it still going?
Yeah, it's still on. I got my cell phone sitting right directly next to the head.
Dude, that is awesome, man. What dude, I wasn't expecting that. That was pretty cool to hear the difference. And what I love about a company that I love to do business with, right? Whether it's a company that's surrounded in the the automotive world, or someone that maybe makes the iPhone, right, like Apple. It's the commitment that you guys have to the product, right, and continuing to roll out new stuff. You kind of mentioned that a few years ago with the newer series that comes out, but you guys didn't stop there. you come back with the 310 SS. Talk to us a little bit about the commitment to quality that ViAir has for your products.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. I mean, we're fully committed to quality, performance. We're constantly, we've got new equipment here that's used for testing daily. We run these things basically through life testing, where we see how long they're going to last, and basically just run them all day, every day until they die, and we can figure out how to better improve it for the next time. So that's kind of what everybody's used to. And one thing that we mainly focus is keeping the quality there and making sure everybody that really uses ViAir knows that it's a quality product. It's going to perform when you need it. And we're always here to support everybody if they do have any questions or if they happen to come across an issue with their compressor.
We see the ViAir, what I call thumbprint, all throughout our mini truck scene and really the air suspension world in general, because we go to so many shows, and when you look in the bed, whether the compressors are exposed or they're kind of up underneath, 99% of the time I see ViAir. And, I would highly encourage, again, if you've got an older setup or maybe you're doing something new with a build, don't, look nowhere else, right? Go to ViAir. And that's something that I continue to see, that with that commitment that you guys have, Ryan, it reinforces what it means to you guys, to outperform the competition, man.
Yeah, and that's what we're all about. We try to stay on top of it. Obviously, there have been or still are a few compressor competitors that have come out there, but we're always here for the quality, always here for the performance, and basically just keep chugging along.
Speaking of performance, I wanted you to hit upon this. If I'm going to throw this question at you, like when we talk about, I think there's a term that's loosely used in the industry, tank recovery rate. When, so someone might be listening, they might go, yeah, wherever I go, I'm hitting my switches, I'm having fun, like we all like to do, right? Does, just playing devil's advocate, does a compressor like what you just demoed to us that's quieter, does someone have a crazy, tank recovery rate loss, or, how comparable is that?
No, yeah, so we can compare those apple to apple. For example, on this 310, the dual pack, on a 2.5 gallon tank, which is typically what everybody's running, it's going to refill that tank from 165 to 200 PSI in under a minute.
Wow.
So that may seem long to some people, but you got to realize it's really only 60 seconds. So comparing that into, say, like the 444 that we just had running compared against this guy, 165 to 200 PSI on that same size tank is 46 seconds. So how much of a difference are we really talking about here?
Yeah, and I'd say 80, 90%, maybe even higher, we're all running the pressure switches, right? Now, you still got some guys here and there that want to have the manual switches and things, and I get that. But the majority of folks, depending on whatever air management, our favorite in our scene, and we partner well with AccuAir. We love Ryan and the team there. But no matter who you're using, you're typically playing with your switches. Your compressor is kind of like your washing machine, right? You put your stuff in the washing machine. You don't stand there. You don't really time it. You kind of leave and you come back later and you're like, my clothes are washed, right? That's how I compare a compressor. It's like I play with the switches, tickling them switches, and then biggity boom, my tank's back to where it needs to be. You don't even think of it. It's really an afterthought in these days.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with this new 310, you won't even hear it while it's filling. So I know one concern is obviously you want to be able to play with your switches as long as possible. But the other concern is the noise coming out of the trunk or under the bed or wherever you have these things mounted. And I think the 310 just perfectly minimizes that concern.
Oh, yeah. Before we talk about a couple other products I saw on your website recently, even talking towards like biking stuff, something that I noticed on the website, though, is, we're talking about the 310 SS with Ryan Morgan from ViAir. But when I'm out here, Ryan, I'm still seeing the 280s, the 380s, the 4s, the 425s, the 444s, the 450s, the 480s. And then, oh, by the way, I recently got from Max Dooley. He had helped me out and got me the 485s for my Lincoln, right, the dual pack. You guys have, it's kind of like you go to McDonald's, right? And you have many different options, right? And how important is that for you and ViAir and the organization?
Yeah, I think it's hugely important to us. We like to kind of focus on having the breadth and the depth of the compressors. So whether you need something that's kind of on the lower price scale or you want the fastest and best compressor that you can get, We kind of cover a wide spectrum, and that's why we don't really phase out any of the old models, because a lot of people still like them. Like the 444s, those have been out for 15, 20 years. People are still buying them. People are still using them, and that's really what keeps us going, is just having a wide spread of products that people could use in their vehicles depending on what their needs are.
I think the other commitment piece that you guys have to that helps is, like, for instance, on my truck Ballard being, when Jimmy built the whole frame, he's got the pedestal at the very back of the frame. And if you guys were sunsetting or retiring, so to speak, some of these compressors, and you had people that had certain mounts and the feet line up and things like that, it's really good because you can go back 5 and 10 years and go, hey, I need a 280C or whatever, right? If that fits right in, kind of like if you had an old entertainment system and you had a TV that fit right in there, you couldn't always buy another TV 20 years down the road that fit. So I love that aspect that ViAir offers to their clients and customers.
Right, yeah, and that's one thing that we heavily focus on too, is trying to maintain not only the same compressors year over year, but trying to at least maintain the same footprint. That way, if you got the old 4.4s and you want to switch up to the 485s, it mounts up the same. On the 310s, it's a little bit different because of the vibration isolation system on there.
Yep.
Those do have a different footprint, but that's one thing we have tried to do, is maintain the footprint of the compressor.
Yeah, excellent. And as Ryan had mentioned earlier, when you look at the 310 SS, you'll see, when you look at you kind of explode those photos, you'll see exactly the feet that he's talking about. And that, again, to your point, cuts down on the vibration. It kind of keeps it quiet, keeps it from rattling. So nice improvements there. Now, I did want to ask you, though, I was kind of intrigued when I went to ViAirCorp.com. I noticed on the homepage, just last week, we had an episode where we talked a lot about bikes, right? And here I am seeing a wagon car, and the heading was like high performance tire inflators, air compressors, and accessories. Have you guys really expanded out to like the cycling market and things like that?
Yeah. So we're always looking to expand. A lot of the mini trucker guys probably don't know, but we also heavily get into off-road markets. We'll even do lifted truck suspension. We get into agricultural markets, industrial markets. So basically, wherever there's a need for air, we're trying to get in there. And if you think about the cycling market, whether it's BMXing or being on the road or taking your mountain bike off and enjoying the gravel paths, all of those bikes have tires on them that need air. And so we kind of came up with this whole new system that works with the Presta valves that are on those tires, and it's really helped us get into this market and really push some products that the market was just flat out missing. When you think about trying to fill up a bike tire and you're using a floor pump or something like that, it'd be so much easier if, instead of sitting there and pumping away and getting your biceps all sore, you could just flip a switch and have it fill up that tire in seconds.
Yeah, it's 2022. Come on, people, right? I mean, we got products for you. The other thing
Exactly.
that I thought was cool was the TLC Pro air compressor kit. And this thing looks like something that, when the holiday season, believe it or not, is, 4 or 5 months away, right? When you look at products like this, like the TLC Pro air compressor kit, like, to me, that seems like a pretty versatile kit that people could do a lot of stuff with.
Yeah, that one's got a built-in tank on it, so you can even use that to blow off the brake rotors or blow off dirt off of your shoes or what have you. So that one's a little bit on the bigger end of the scale. Going down from there, we've also got a TLC Lite and a TLC Plus. Those are more for like the consumer guys that are going out on the weekend warriors, as some people would call them. But getting into the Pro, and there's a couple more kits above that, that's really for your more professional riders or mechanics that are working on the bikes.
Yeah, and then like even with the Boost air source kit, I remember when guys were kind of getting into doing things where they would have like an air source in the bed and they could run like a quick power tool and stuff. But it seems like it's really getting to that point where, to your point earlier, you can, whether it's a tire inflator or it's something that you just want to blow off some sand or dirt in your engine bay, like you guys seem like you have a product for all of that.
Yeah, and the nice thing about these new TLC products is they do have they've got a 2-pin SAE connector on them, so they're actually pretty easy to hook up or wire into the vehicles. You can either go battery clamps like the old portables used to be, or you can actually hardwire it into the battery and get power that way.
Pretty sick, man. That's awesome. Before I ask if there's anything else that you want to maybe hit upon, something that I've always kind of wondered is when I think about ViAir, and you kind of hit upon earlier with the competition, right? I worked in the cellular industry for over 20 years, and we prided ourselves on being the best customer service, doing everything we can to be better than we were the day before, right? And we've kind of established so far, ViAir obviously has that commitment, but I want people to know, like, the amount of firepower that you guys probably put into improving these products. I mean, we're not talking chump change, right? I mean, you guys are constantly innovating.
Yeah, and that's one thing we definitely pride ourselves on is our customer service team is second to none. Like you said, we're always here to lend a helping hand when it's needed. But most importantly, we're always looking for the next improvement to try to make the products better. We've got a huge testing facility here in-house that we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on just to make sure that our products are working. And not only that, we also, like they always say, keep your enemies closer than your friends. We're constantly testing what's out there in the market to see if it works, how it's performing, what kind of improvements they're coming up with. And it really keeps us on top of the market and keeps us up in our games.
I love hearing it. The last thing I can think of is when, let's say someone has a compressor for many, many years and it just, nothing lasts forever. But you're talking 10, 15, 20 years of hard abuse. I know some people will choose, the hands-on guys, so to speak, will choose to rebuild compressors. Sometimes I think the amount of time that you got in it, you could easily just go buy, believe it or not, like a new dual compressor setup for sometimes cheaper than you'd think. But people can still, if they need to obtain parts to rebuild a compressor and things like that, do those parts still exist out there for people to obtain?
Yeah, of course. We've most of our bigger distributors or dealers will carry those repair parts.
Cool.
One of the first things that typically goes is going to be that piston ring inside the cylinder. So once that kind of starts to wear out, the compressor is going to slow down. It's not going to be as quick to refill the tank, but the motor itself is still good. So we offer new cylinder walls, piston rings. That way you can kind of mainly for the people that are on a budget and don't want to have to buy new compressors, they can repair it, get it back up on the road again, and then save up for when they're ready to buy that next new compressor.
Yeah, and if you go out to ViAirCorp.com and you hover over tech, you can go to the bottom where it says FAQ, and if you go to maintenance, installation, or technical, there is a ton of what we call Q&A, questions and answers, from installation, technical specs, and of course maintenance. And I think, Ryan, all that stuff kind of comes into play, right, based upon everything we've talked about. But I also hope to continue to see, from ViAir, more tech videos and things like that as we get into the future, man.
Yeah. We were pretty slow to maintain technology here. I mean, as we're getting into the 2020s here, we're launching some new videos. Obviously, our new TLC line, we got videos coming out for that. So really just trying to take a hold of the whole social media scene and trying to get videos out there so people can actually see what the products do rather than just going on a website and reading about them.
Yeah, I love it. If you guys, I want to give a huge shout out to Jay Church. Jay's a previous guest, NC Florida, law enforcement, but he's also a biker, and he's going out there on those trails. And if you think about some of the products that Ryan talked about earlier, that kind of would be something good for a guy like that's going to maybe be out there. Whether you're in Florida, Arizona, Cali, you're going to be out off the beaten path, and if you got to change a tire on your bike or whatever, it sounds like you got some really cool stuff, man, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's definitely some exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. There's more to come. But yeah, it was great touching base with you and appreciate your time and what you guys do for the scene.
No doubt. Is there anything else that you can maybe think that we maybe forgot? I think they just need to follow Facebook, Instagram, ViAir Corp. That's simple. Yeah.
I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything. We've got all the social media information on our website too, but I'm sure most people are already following us and seeing what we're doing, but yeah.
Yeah, everybody get out there, ViAir Corp on Instagram, Facebook, as we said. Ryan, dude, it's been cool. I've wanted to do more tech-type episodes, and this was definitely kind of a refreshing restart for us to do that. Thank you for doing the demo. You've got me sold, man. And stay on the rise. We hope you have a great rest of your week, and enjoy the weekend, brother.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I appreciate you getting us on here and letting me do a demo so people can actually hear what these things are all about.
No doubt. Again, if you guys are new here, you found us, please subscribe, follow. We got so much content out there. Stay on the rise, my brother.
Alrighty, have a good one, Jason.
Yo, it's a wrap. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Shorter episode for this week, but hey, gets the good content out there that you guys are asking for, so we really appreciate it. I would remind you guys, if you're looking for new threads, we got 2 great companies that support us, GarageGearClothing.com. They offer free shipping in the U.S., and then you also have Hammered Weekend Wear. That's HAMMERD, weekendwear.com. Go out there and show them some love. While you're at it, again, I mentioned earlier the upcoming holiday season. If you've got a mini trucker in your family or someone that loves these small mini trucks, as we call them, hit up minitruckfilm.com. Order the West Coast Influence Radar, who is part behind Lone Star Throwdown. He produced this mini truck style film, documentary style film, if you will. So go show them some love. If you need stickers, hit up Graphics Mafia, whether you're doing a SEMA build or you just need some refresh decals for your club or whatnot, GRAPHIXmafia.com. We got to thank also Joey at Get Decked. If you have a photo or artwork that you want to put on a skate deck, hit up Get Decked on Facebook or Instagram. Send Joey a message. He's real deal Holyfield, and we appreciate what he does. Huge shout out to AccuWear. I was just conversing with Ryan over there, telling him, hey, we got to get you back on to talk about the products. Can't wait to see what they have up their sleeve for SEMA. And remember, if you've got AccuWear on your vehicle and you want to get featured, go to AccuWear.com. You can go under AccuWear Life, and there's an opportunity to upload a photo to provide your Instagram handle as well as the photographers, and that way they get photo credit. There's merchandise out there to purchase as well, including shirts and things like that, so hit them up. I think that's it for this week. Again, kept it short and sweet. Next week, we are going to have a best of, but Mike and I may record some audio pre-best of guest. It's really a classic, great guy in our scene, so we'll run that. And then we're ramping up for our milestone episode 300. Remember, next month in August is going to hit our going on our eighth year. So, that'll hit our 7 as we transition into 8. But 3.5 years of that straight, we've been every single Friday, haven't missed a week. So thank you for all the support. Make sure you follow and or subscribe. Stay on the rise and upgrade your ViAir compressors if you have some. If they're old school, hit up ViAir and get some new ones. And if you don't have ViAir, you don't have the heart of your air suspension where it needs to be. We got you. Peace.